Hey guys, let's skip the formal full-on makeup intro and get right into the video. Today we're talking about SophX palette with Makeup Revolution. If I'm sleeping at night dreaming of color selection to be gathered together in a palette for summer, it's gonna be this one over here. You've got everything you need. You got your warms, your neutrals, your mattes, your pop of colors, those shades over here that deepen up the look. It's very versatile and I like it much better than the Reloaded Iconic, this one over here. I like this one much better. The mattes performs much better. You have more versatility when it comes to the matte selection and the shimmer ones. It's not my first time using this palette. I've used it like 3 or 4 times before. I know I love it. I know I'm amazed with the shades. They are beautiful. You've got everything you would dream of if you're making any or if you're creating any summer look. Let's quit the rambling and get into the video. Before we start, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, and let's get with the application. So first shade I'm going to use, notice one thing, all the mattes has kind of a specks of glitter running into them, but once you, not all of them, most of them, but once you put them into your crease, you don't see those glitter anymore. So I would say they are full on mattes. So as I told you, I'll start with this shade over here, and I'm going a little bit over the crease. It's like a creamsicle shade over here. It's building beautifully over here. A smaller brush over here, and I will be using this shade over here, this really warm mustardy shade, a little bit below, a little bit lower than the creamsicle shade that we used, and I'm defining the crease a little bit more. Those shades are amazing. They blend beautifully. By the way guys, this palette is $15, which for the quality of the shades and especially the mattes, I would say that's an amazing price. I'm using the previous brush, nothing on it, just to buff the edges. Then I'm going in with the Sonia Kashuk tapered brush over here with this amazing delicious shade over here, and I'm going again lower than both shades. The darker I go, the lower I get with my shadow. I told you this before. I guess like that's an obvious rule for eyeshadow. And by the way guys, I have my whole base on. I used the Physicians Formula foundation, the Better Skin concealer, and the Milani loose powder to do my base, and for the brows I have the Maybelline Total Temptation in Total Temptation Brow Definer in deep brown. It's becoming one of my favorite brow products, period. Now back to the eyes. I'm throwing this again in the actual crease, you know, in my actual fold over here. So I don't want to lose the orange for the favor of this terracotta kind of reddish color. I still want to see the orange, so I'm going with the second brush, the Morphe 441, and back with the previous shade, which was this warm shade over here. Then the first really big brush over here with the first creamsicle shade, because I don't want to lose any of the shades I used over here. Now I need a completely clean brush, so I'm going to clean the Morphe M518 over here, and just blend the inner corner with no product whatsoever because I want it to be seamless. Now I'm using a really small detailed brush. Let me show you on my forehead over here. And I'm using this brown over here. Like, this one is a little bit on the warmer side. This dark one is cooler and I want to keep the look warm, so I'm going with this one over here for the outer corner. See the difference a dark shade makes when you add it to your outer corner? I feel it makes the whole look come together. I'm using the Morphe M330 and it's like a tapered. It looks a lot like the Sonia Kashuk brush, but it's much smaller, and I'm gonna buff this shade over here. I'm going to do the same thing for the other eye. Okay, let's work on the lower lash line. I'm using the Visonti Contour Eyeshadow number 4. I'm using the mixture of the two first shades, the Creamsicle and the really warm mustardy one over here to start the lower lash line with. And then I'm using any detail. It's essentially a liner brush. This one is Wet n Wild. Any brush this shape will give you the same effect. I'm using the really dark shade we used over in the outer corner and stamping it really, really close to the waterline. And as usual, I didn't bring it all the way inside. I left a little bit of blank space over here because I don't want to close my eyes with really dark shade in the inner corner over here. And I'm using the M507 by Morphe to smudge it using this shade over here. For the shimmer shade, I will be using, I'm completely torn. So we have this gorgeous shade, watch for it. And we have this one. And this one is a little bit harder. I'm torn. Which one should I use? I'm gonna use actually the golden one, and I'm going to go with one of my rubber applicators over here. It has lots of fallout, to be quite honest. I'm trying to press and a lot of fallout. At this point, I would say definitely using those wet is the way to go. So I have this shade over here on a flat brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray it because I want it to pop a little bit more. And of course, when you wet it, you minimize the fallout, that's for sure. And I feel wetting it, this one is wet, this one is dry. Yeah, there is a difference. I can see the difference. I will use this shade over here to clean under the brow and in the inner corner. For the waterline, I'm going to apply the L'Oreal Infallible Longwear Eye Pencil in Nude Beige. So whenever you apply a nude, white is gonna be a little bit in your face, not natural, but the nude, it's gonna make your eye naturally opened and wider, and I feel it adds a lot to the look, especially if you're going out in the morning. Like right now I'm going to pick up my daughter. So this one opens the eye, makes it look fresh, so I really love it. So I will apply eyeliner. The one that I'm going to be using, the one that I can't stop using, is the Maybelline Eye Studio Gel Liner in Blackest Black. And pick up my daughter and be right back to finish up the face with bronzer, contour, highlighter, blush. Let's do this on camera as well, so be right back. Look at the sunset on my eyes. I love it. I applied the gel liner as I told you, and for mascara I already applied it obviously. I applied the Maybelline Total Temptation and topped it off with the Lash Paradise. So instead of choosing one or the other, I actually used them both. My daughters had play date yesterday with their best friends, and lucky me, their mom is, I would call her a sister, not just a friend. And she mentioned yesterday that I've been focusing on the products that I'm using and not too much on the techniques or how to apply them. So I will add a contour, how to really fast. The palette I'll be using for that is the Koki Professional Powder Contour Palette, and I'll be using the mixture of these two shades over here. You kind of see how to contour over here. So as I told her yesterday, you don't go any further down than this. That's your limit. Like your upper lips is your limit for going low. You don't go any lower than that. So I start a little bit higher than the, you know, there is a dip, something like going inside in this area, a little bit higher. So at the top of the ears, and I go down and then up, blending. So the angle going from the top of your ears down is not wide. It's as narrow as you can get it. Taking to the temples. So again, from the top of the ears and going towards your mouth, in the middle of your eyes, that's where you stop. And the line is almost straight, so you don't go really low like that. No, right under the cheeks like that. My nose is so narrow from here and it's wide over here, so I try to contour and make it narrower over here, and I cut it over here because it's long. I've done short noses before, and if your nose is short, you connect it with your brows and then go a straight line down, and you never cut it from the bottom over here because it's gonna make it look shorter. For me, I have narrow from here. It's like that triangular nose. So what I do is, if you have the same nose shape, I go just on the bottom part over here, and I cut this part over here and try to do this part over here as well, make it look smaller. And I have a new nose right now. I forgot yesterday to tell my friend that, but you put it under your lips to make it look bigger, powdier. For bronzer, the first one I'm using is the Milani Bronzer XL in the shade Bronze Glow. And this shade is a little bit on the pinky side. So I want to make it look a little bit bronzerier, like a little bit more bronze. I'm going to use the Bronze Booster by Physician Formula, and it's the baked one in the shade medium to dark. So before doing that, I'm going to use the Revlon Blending blush. I'm going to use my favorite blush of the moment, and it's the Milani Blossom Time Rose number 11. It has like a golden hue to it. I enjoy it. Yes. See? For highlighter, I will actually use a Makeup Revolution one. I will use the Makeup Revolution Strobe Highlighter in the shade Gold Addict. And of course the highlighter is on the top of your cheeks. I will real fast go with my favorite fan brush, the EcoTool Deluxe Fan. Go in, spritz it, go at the top. Yes, now we're talking. There we go. For lips, I will be using the Flower Petal Pout Lip Liner in Nude. And on top, I will use the Maybelline Vivid Hot Lacquer in Charmer. Let's recap real fast. What do we think of this palette? I love the mattes. Look how amazing they are blended. They are seamless. They are not muddy. They don't like blend together into one muddy color. No, you can definitely see the gradient of the color, the difference in colors and shades. One drawback is the shimmers. They have a lot of fallout, but when you wet it, you get this gorgeous look. So I would actually wet any shimmer shadow because it takes it to the next level. I know some high-end and some drugstore actually shimmers don't need to be wet to perform like that. But if you have this amount of gorgeous colors, and most importantly, the mattes perform that good, and you have this amazing selection of color, I would go the extra step of wetting the brush to get this gorgeous look. For this amount of shade and this price, did I mention before in the video? It's $15. And yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and like it. If you did, don't forget to thumb it up, and see you all in my next one. Bye!